Welcome everyone to another edition of Remote Transmission here on IPMNation.com, and I am sitting here with the band Ghostwire. And if you haven't heard them yet, you're not going to hear them tonight. But at least not. They don't have any tunes ready. They're still working on their tunes. But we're going to do a little interview here, and we'll start on this end. Sir, please tell me who you are and what you do.
I'm Sean McLaughlin, and I'm the bassist.
I'm Stephen Mark. I'm the drummer.
And I'm Nick Fournier, and I play guitar and do some vocalization.
Some vocalization.
Yes. Well, we split.
Okay.
I do vocals as well. I should have put that in there.
Yes, you were remiss in explaining who you are.
He's an imposter. Don't believe anything he says.
Yeah, we actually split. Nick and I split the vocals, leads, and backups on our songs.
Yeah.
Rounds it out pretty well to kind of go back and forth. Gives the other guy a break.
Right.
So they're not all doing lead vocals, but yeah, it's a pretty good system.
Yeah.
And the songs that we write too, write different parts for them, and sometimes, for example, break it down. I could come in with a song. Nick could have another part added to the song.
Right.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but
No, that's fine.
but I'm just saying that
What he means is the format is loose.
Yeah.
It's loose.
Yeah.
Open door policy.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys all write together, or is it?
So far, it's been more like people bringing things in from outside, but that's also because we had started. Sean and I were in another version of this band before this one.
The Proxy
And
Wars.
that band was called Proxy Wars, and that one we wrote a lot of the material during that band, and it was geared toward a certain lineup where I was just playing guitar, not singing.
Right.
He was just playing bass, not singing. And then when we brought it into this band, we had to adapt a lot of the material. So a lot of it was pre-written and kind of retrofitting. We were just talking the other night about how it's good. We finally found our sound together as a three-piece, and now we can start to write as a band and write with each other's strengths and weaknesses in mind.
Yeah.
Instead of hoping that this will work, or you write a part for this now and try to make that work.
Right. Well, what do you guys sound like? How do you describe it?
Without
hates this
name
question.
checking any direct influences, I guess. Probably, we draw a lot of inspiration from old classic post punk and new wave type of bands from the late '70s, early '80s. Kind of. It's still rock. I mean, it's got a bit of a pop side to it, but it's hopefully played with a bit of an edge too, because we don't want to be boring.
Sure.
But song structure wise, it kind of goes back and forth between songs with really odd structures, and then some very normal classic, if you will, structures.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
What he said.
very ear friendly.
Yeah.
I think very pretty much a radio friendly on most of the songs that we have right now. Very traditional, familiar. I think the shows that we played so far, some people have said that to me, that they sounded familiar, but they weren't aware of all the songs that we played. Most of them we had written. We did a couple of covers, but they were top 40 necessarily.
What
Covers, so.
What do you do for covers?
We threw in a couple
We did
of
songs by U2, The
Yeah.
Police, The Stone Roses.
Yeah.
Joy Division, which
Cure.
That's right, The Cure.
we threw the Cure in there recently. And not everybody knows all that, surprisingly. Because a lot of it dates back too, but we figured we'd play something closer to our influences.
Yeah.
But we do have a wider aspect of influence as well. So.
Yeah, I think when you draw from a influence pool that's sort of from a date gone by and it's sort of not in the popular scheme of things,
Right.
and you add to that the fact that you can't deny or remove from yourself techniques or things, there's always, because of our age and what we've learned, there's always something modern about, the way you play or
Sure.
the techniques and so on. does sound, as people have referred to, very accessible and familiar and modern, yet it's really drawing mostly in terms of its design, its architecture from things, from that post-modern sort of post-punk era.
Sure.
It's a frame of reference more than
More than a sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Where does the name come from, Ghostwire? It's a cool name.
it's an enigma wrapped inside of a conundrum.
Oh my.
Puzzle. With a nice little bow on it. No,
That
it
was
was
serious.
it was it was kind of, we were brainstorming ideas at one point, and Steve here had come up with. I think for quantity he was the winner by far. He had a list that was very very long,
Yeah.
and he was good at fixating on specific words. So he would come up with 600 ghost names, 600 wire names, 600 fire names. He had certain images that he was really good at kind of focusing on and trying to bring to fruition. And the one that he had the most of were names using ghost and names using wire. And looking over the list, I kind of thought, why not just take the one ghost and take the wire and just sort of put them together. So it wasn't necessarily.
Kind of like helping a child tie its shoes. They fumbling, and you just kind of do the obvious for
Sure.
That's right.
Sure.
You're 90% of the way there. Let's just get this thing. Maybe Velcro next time. But no, that's pretty much how it came down. But then, we took it to a vote, and everybody agreed that it had a good kind of ambiguity to it. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it doesn't. But it sounds like it's full of meaning at
Right.
the same time.
Right.
But you don't necessarily hear it. You could hear the name, and before you've heard the music, and you might think you're going to hear something that's completely different than what you will hear.
Yeah.
It kind of gives a lot of different impressions, and has a lot of potential places we could go with the imagery too, associated with it in terms of album covers and
Yeah.
T-shirts, billboards.
You're
Whatever else.
thinking ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Forecasting.
Yes, yes. And how many songs do you guys have at this point, as far as originals?
Oh, right now originals we're up to 10. Well, 8 that are definitely complete, 2 that are still in the instrumental stage, and probably a handful of others. Between Sean and I, probably like 5 or 6 others that are still in the larval stage.
Yeah, we might have passed them by each other, or just kind of left them up on our whiteboard as
The larva stage, I like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
They've hatched, but they're not quite.
Yes.
They're not quite feeding themselves yet.
Larval
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
That'd be a good name for a bit. No, actually, it wouldn't be. Never mind. Maybe your first album.
If they didn't have arms or legs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So we have some of the ones, and I have some I'm working on at home. I haven't brought in yet, just ideas. It's always funny. Sometimes you won't write songs or for me, I haven't written songs in a while. And lately, it's really all I want to do.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you just creative pool and starting.
Yeah.
So we should have plenty of new stuff. Between the both of us, we should always bring up something. And if we ever recorded ourselves with some of our jams that we have, we pretty much could have some space rock albums
Yeah.
complete by now.
Really? Yeah.
It's amazing. We do warm up jams, and it's
Early 70s Pink Floyd would be
Yeah.
embarrassed.
Really.
a little bit of Can in there. Or
Yes,
something.
that's right.
Do you guys do that live at all? Do you jam live, or do you just stick
No,
to those
We
songs?
haven't really. It's been much more of a structured approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically like, as I term it, a song band.
Right.
We perform the songs. That's really all. But
It's not something I think we'd ever rule out as such, but it probably would come down to more of a. Even that would have to be a structured thing. Probably
Sure.
like a section of a song where we all just kind of freak out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Throw it all up in the air and see where it lands, and
Mhm.
that kind of thing. But it
that
would be.
that stuff's always good. That we know that we work well together, even on structure. And we know we do the songs well together. But
Yeah.
when we go off the trail, off the beaten path, and just kind of like start going off in the A chord or something, and I'm pretty amazed every time that we seem it's almost like we have parts written, pre-written.
Right.
When we play it together, it's amazing that we don't fall off and go out of tune, and we're pretty structured. I myself love working with these guys, and I've worked with them for like 4 years now, I think.
Wow, that long? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially as a side project or whatever it was, it built up, but it's been a
case where my prior band, Chewy, was for most all practical purposes defunct.
Sure.
And so we've been getting together and playing, once a year, something like that, once or twice a year,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah.
And
I'm in a band that does that. It's
Yeah.
on that schedule.
yeah, and I was
The
really
movies of a line
Yeah.
last time.
loving it when we would get together and play, but I kind of had a moment of self-realization where it was just painfully obvious it wasn't cutting it. I needed
Sure.
to have something more consistent musically in my life, So
Yeah.
I started looking at not Facebook, Craigslist, and really was horribly disappointed with the type of opportunities that were presenting themselves there.
Really? Yeah.
And it sort of became sort of a gag to my wife and I to it became a habit to go look, not because I was still looking for an opportunity, but because the kind of stuff that you come across would be so humorous that
Really?
we would laugh about it, right?
Like what do you mean? Like what kind of stuff? What kind of opportunities were you finding?
Just stuff that's not my speed,
Yeah.
I guess
Mostly illiterates and convicts.
a lot
Really?
of
Yeah.
I don't want to come off like an elitist or anything.
No, that's good
But
radio. Go ahead.
it's
No, it's not all failures. I mean, look at us.
a lot of situations where it's clear that I wouldn't be on the same page with these
Yeah.
people, either musically or personality-wise or
Yeah.
Literacy.
visual-wise or anything.
Yeah.
Literacy-wise.
Mainly literacy.
Yeah. So musical taste played heavy into that whole thing.
Yeah.
At any rate, it was only in that stage when I clearly had given up all hope, and I was just looking at it for a joke that these guys had popped up, and I was actually like, that's actually remarkably refreshing to see on Craigslist, and seems pretty interesting.
Right.
So that, literally within minutes of reading that, I sent them an email, and that was that.
Yeah.
Met for coffee, and then you jam, you do a little
I
bit
think
of this.
you also heard our bedroom demo.
Yeah, I'd have to say that played a
Nice
major
deal.
role. Is that I think in the ad referenced a MySpace page where I could see a demo of what they had been doing,
Sure.
and I thought the sound, the approach, the vision, what they're going for was just really unique and refreshing, and totally just got me jazzed. Insofar in that it had all those things, but two was different from what I had been playing. So on that, it wasn't more of the same. It was something, a challenge for me, to kind of do a different musical style than what I've been used to doing with my other band. So
Right.
it was just a great opportunity for me, and just glad that they liked what I brought to it. So
Yeah. Now, do you still play with Chewy occasionally?
I do.
Wow.
Very infrequently.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
Chris Miranda
Yep.
of Chewy.
Does he still have the unibrow?
Oh yeah, that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some people pluck,
Yeah. I think it's a source of pride for him.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
That's where he draws his powers.
I think actually
If he took
he,
it off, he'd be
I
powerless.
think he actually applies Rogaine to that area.
Really? Yeah, good for him. Yeah.
He takes it very seriously.
Yeah, that's very rock and roll.
But he with good reason is focusing on his solo career. He's made some incredible music. He's got a couple of solo records out, and he's sort of in a different vein entirely from this band and what Drew was doing.
Yeah.
And he's having a good time with that. So that's where most of his focus lies. So Chewy's really a nostalgia thing that
Sure.
happens, like I said, like once every 2 years or
Yeah. Yeah.
a couple times a year, depending on the year. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Now, do you guys have a current MySpace page or Facebook, or where can we find Ghostwire online?
There is a Facebook.
It's kind of all in the works at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still
Very embryonic.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, really don't even bother looking it up. It's more of it's like a framework for what will come. Let's put it
Right.
that way.
Yeah.
Once we have some recordings, some photos,
Yeah.
some content really to put there, that's it'll be there. It'll all be coming
Yeah.
out soon. Hopefully in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of critical
Focus that.
mass. Yeah, I think we'd all agreed that. I think the right evolution is, and we're very close to being there, and getting 10 to 12 website. Once you have a product to sort of drive traffic around, I think that's the stage that we're looking to have all that stuff explode. But we have it all queued up, just waiting to put the content there, and then we'll start driving traffic to those places.
Yeah.
We're really in the final stages of that too.
Right.
With the songwriting and everything, most of it's written in there. It's just a honing process now. We just started doing some internal demos just for our own use, just to listen back and hear where we're at.
Sure.
And it's all, I mean, it's very raw right now. But even just doing that last week, one of our earliest songs changed very subtly, but very much for the better. So hopefully between that and booking more live shows and playing live more, that kind of honing and focusing, by the time we actually hit a studio, so it's, the result will be worth hearing,
Sure.
worth the wait that we're gonna make everybody go through now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully this will whet everyone's appetites. Do you have any shows coming up in the area?
The next couple that we have, or at least the next one we definitely have.
Yeah, we have a show at the Stone Church, actually playing with Chewy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and
So you're gonna be doing double duty?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll be a good workout.
yeah. There's lots of blisters that night.
Yeah.
But
Come to watch Steve die,
yeah,
if only for that. He was
Yes,
at Stone Church.
I think it's April 13th.
I think it's the 13th.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. April 13th at the Stone Church.
Yeah.
So it's Ghostwire, Chewy, and is anyone else on the bill?
I think it's just Ghostwire Chewy, give some breathing room to
Cool.
have each act, explore the room,
Yeah.
explore the space.
Yeah. Very cool.
probably between at some point. I mean, I'm sure we'll book another show at Millie's.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some other local venues too. We're looking forward to that, but
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance yet to get into other rooms.
Right.
We've played 2 shows at Millie's and those have gone just fine. So
Yeah.
hopefully more on
Yeah,
that along those lines.
So any listeners we have in New Hampshire in the area should check out the Stone Church in I always want to say Portsmouth, but it's not Portsmouth. It's
It's Newington, right?
Newington or
Newmarket.
Newmarket.
It's
Yeah.
Newmarket. Thank you.
Yeah.
Newmarket, New Hampshire, April 13th, and I think their website is just stonechurch.com,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, you can double check the date there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a Saturday.
Okay.
So,
We encourage everyone to come down.
Cool. Maybe IPMNation.com will be there.
That would be excellent.
Great.
Maybe we'll do a little radio show from there that night.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Live broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, Sean, Steve, and Nick from Ghostwire, thanks for being here with us today. Or I should say thanks for letting me be here with you because we are in your rehearsal space, and I'm anxious to hear you guys play.
Thanks, sir.
Great,
So,
thank you.
all right, thank you, and we'll see y'all soon.